Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 2, the official video game, where today we are playing another brand new downloadable content. It's the Monster Energy Cup, the 2018 version of the Monster Energy Cup, which is pretty neato that they have once again decided to include the MEC as some downloadable content in the game. Of course, with the MEC format, there's the 3 main events, so it's kind of like the Triple Crowns that they already have in the game, and it just basically comes standard on the Monster Energy Cup DLC. You can't even like actually change it. Like, you can't race the MEC track in time trial, you can't do it in single player, you have to go to the actual game mode Monster Energy Cup to be able to play the track. So you'll always get the 3 main events on this track, but you actually, from what I can tell, change the weather up a little bit. You can change the length of the races. I'm doing the short races, so they're just 3 laps each. And then obviously you can choose to ride a 450 or a 250, which is what the Monster Cup was originally kind of all about, was to get 450 and 250 riders both to do basically just run what you bring and race each other in this kind of like pseudo Supercross event at the end of the season. Yeah, I think everybody knows the Monster Cup at this point. And this version of the Monster Cup is, of course, the one that Eli Tomac won the Monster Million at this past year, where he won the first 2 main events and then had Joey Savacci pull over for him in that last one, but still was able to get the $1 million. And then that guy Jesse, or whatever his name was, also got the $1 million because he picked Tomac to win the million, and Tomac did. So kind of a cool storyline from back then, and brings back a little bit of memories from that race, obviously. Unique track. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Monster Cup. I'd say some of the original ones that they had cooler ideas, cooler concepts on it. This one seemed a little bit more straightforward than previous Monster Cups. 2 sand sections, I feel like, kind of ruins it. Like, I know that it's supposed to be a motocross supercross hybrid, but I really wish that they'd use the inside the stadium stuff to have like a gnarly supercross track, and then use more of this outside of the stadium to have maybe some rollers or rougher sections than they have in real life. I mean, obviously this is just like a long single and then 2 straightaways back into Thunder Alley, so it's not that cool. But I don't know, that's personal preference. Yeah, pretty cool that they decided to include this. As I said, a couple things that I can point out that maybe I don't love, but I'm not picking on the track or picking apart the track that negatively. It's just a couple things that I have come across. Number 1 is there's like a commitment zone for the Joker lane, so I'm just going to kind of ruin my race here. But if you go here and then try to turn back, even though it still looks like you're in the boundaries to go through the normal lane of the track, it automatically puts you in the Joker lane. So I know that they kind of had to do that, but it seems like a little weird that maybe they couldn't just put like a Joker lane timing gate that you have to go through to say that you have hit the Joker lane at the back, which I just obviously had that check mark happen, because sometimes I feel like you could get pushed wide through that straightaway and then, you know, hit the commitment line and have to go through the Joker lane again, even if you don't want to. So that one is a little weird. That's just a little kind of glitch I feel like I've caught with it. Another thing is the 2 into the stand bowl corners that they have seemingly have kind of like invisible tough blocks, which isn't a new concept. There's a couple tracks in this game that have that already in them. Houston was a big one earlier this year when we were doing the DMR races. A lot of guys are hitting the invisible tough blocks while trying to do fast laps or even just, you know, normal main event stuff. So I don't know if that's something that they know is a problem or not, but like I'll show you right here as I come up into this corner. I'll try to tuck to the inside, and like I just hit a wall basically. There's like nothing there. I didn't hit anything per se, but it just, yeah, like now I'm getting pushed way outside. I was trying to turn that whole time, but it's just pushing me wider and wider. So again, just ruining my race here to show you guys a couple of the faux pas with the track. But honestly, other than those 2 things, I don't feel like there's really anything wrong with these tracks, or with this track, I should say. Most of it, I feel like they hit spot on with how it's supposed to look, or how it did look in real life. The track actually has great flow, which I felt the Monster Energy Cup version that they did last year of the 2017 version didn't really have that. It seemed kind of clunky and thrown together a little bit. This one has much better jump shapes and flow, and yeah, I think overall it looks good, feels good, rides good, and would recommend. It's $5.99 on the Steam store. So I'm assuming it's $5.99 on the Xbox Marketplace and PlayStation Store as well. So I know that's maybe a little bit of a tall asking price for basically one track, but I know sometimes you guys can wait a couple months or two and the price will drop and they'll get bundled in. Like, I know that they had initial DLCs with the game that were like the camo pack and the franchise pack or whatever it was called, and those are all now bundled on like Steam discounts. I don't know how Xbox Marketplace or PSN Store does it with discounted stuff, but I guess if you wait a little bit, you can get this track. Yeah, I would say I would say it's worth the money, honestly, just because it's a cool extra track to have. It's a cool thing that I think you can play online with your buddies. If not, I'm sure that's something that they'll work on patching, hopefully soon. Still some problems with the online lobbies that I feel like they need to patch first, but that's another story. And yeah, just cool to have some more content. I just like that they are continuing to add content. You know, MXSA TV All Out, they have the same thing. They always are adding, or have been pretty regularly adding new content to All Out since release. So it's nice to see that they released the game and didn't just kind of like leave it as a half-open game. Like, they're still exploring the opportunities that the game has. And obviously Monster Cup is kind of like a big part of the whole Feld production, which, you know, obviously is a part of Monster Energy Supercross as a whole. So for them to leave out Monster Cup in the first place seems a little bit weird. It's kind of like when, you know, if you have the MXGP games come out and they leave out the Motocross the Nations, it would feel weird. So I'm glad that they have the Monster Cup. Obviously they already have the Los Angeles Coliseum DLC. I would care to wager, if years past are an indication of anything, that this is about the ending of their downloadable content cycle. And if they did renew a license to get another Monster Energy Supercross, like Monster Energy Supercross 3 out, this is where the development of that game will begin. And obviously it's going to be, if it does come out, probably released next February, but I haven't heard anything official. So don't quote me on anything. That's just me saying this is probably the end of their DLC cycle. I could be 100% wrong, and usually I am, because I'm just an idiot half the time. So yeah, we'll have to take a look at that and whether or not there's more DLC stuff coming, or whether or not we are going to get that Monster Energy Supercross 3. But yeah, just wanted to do a quick video here today. Not one to maybe play forever, or, you know, have a super long gameplay, but just talk about this new Monster Energy Cup track. What I kind of messed up by showing you guys stuff at the beginning was, you know, like throwing the race away and not getting a win in that first main event. I suppose after this, what I could try to do is go back and leave a note in the comments whether or not winning all 3 main events gets you like some sort of bonus in the game. Like, it'd be pretty neat. It would be ridiculous, but it'd be pretty neat if like you did something along the lines of like realistic AI, full race distance, etc., etc., and won all 3 main events in this game if you actually did get 1,000,000 credits, because earning credits in this game is like a nightmare that just never ends. Like, you have to try hard the game quite a bit to get a lot of stuff in this game. So it'd be kind of nice if there was a way to get a crap ton of credits by doing something that in real life would get you $1 million, maybe 1,000,000 credits. I don't know. That just is something I feel like would be kind of cool. But I'll check back later and confirm whether or not that's the case. Man, Brock Tickle about to win the Monster Cup without winning a race here. I'll try to take him down in the last race. Got to beat him by a couple positions to get it. And it's really cool that you know, this is all Sam Boyd Stadium. Everything Finley Toyota Tower is what it's actually called over there at the end. I know some stadiums in this game, they can't really use the naming rights for it. Like, for example, Petco Park, which is my home park or home track, because I live in San Diego. They call it San Diego Stadium, and then things like the Western Metal Supply building, which are in the stadium. It's not even a company anymore, per se. It's just an old building from downtown that they refurbished and put inside of the stadium, but they didn't include the branding for that on the stadium. So I'm assuming there is some conflicts of interest there that they couldn't include all the branding and name it Petco Park in game and things like that. But here, it's the full Sam Boyd Stadium deal, and I don't know, that's kind of nice that it's, you know, it's the legit, authentic thing. And I'm not blaming them either for not being able to do fully legit, authentic things. I know it probably costs a crap ton of money to get logistic naming rights and stuff like that for stadiums and sponsors that aren't necessarily part of the game or the Feld enterprise as a group. So I wouldn't want to be the guy figuring that out or handling that business. A couple things I can hit on lately with some updates to the game that I've noticed in the past month or so. Number one is the addition of tear-offs. So as I go through the next rhythm lane, I'll go ahead and rip a tear-off if the guy doesn't beat me to it. But you can now rip tear-offs, so that's kind of cool. A new feature to the game they added with the patch at the end of, well, it was like mid-March, I guess, that they added that patch. And you just have to hit down on the directional pad if you're in the air, and it will pull a tear-off. Sometimes you can do it on the straightaway, but you have to be off the gas. So let's see, like as I go over this double right here, oh, he's just gonna rip one anyway. Little delayed reaction there. One thing that they had kind of messed up with the tear-offs thing was it seemed like he was ripping tear-offs like every straightaway, and so it was like not necessarily like supremely annoying, but you're kind of like, all right, come on, like there's nobody been in front of you for like 3 laps and you're ripping a tear-off every dang straightaway, so calm down. But it seems like with the most recent patch, maybe that came out with the DLC today, they've already fixed that problem, as it's not ripping tear-offs as often per se. You can choose to rip them yourself, or they'll automatically rip after a while. And then another update that was fairly recent to the game, I think it actually came with the tear-off update, was some bike sound upgrades. So the KTMs actually made a pretty marked difference, and I know some guys that I was speaking to said the Kawasaki sound a lot different too. Like the Kawasaki sounded really good before, and now people are saying that they sound actually like a little bit more high pitched and not as fun. The KTMs have always had a real soft baritone low end to them, and they still do, but one thing that they changed was that the rev limiter on them used to kind of, I don't know, like it would top out and it didn't sound like a real rev limiter. It was just kind of like a real soft one. Now it's a little bit higher pitched, and after the patch that they did, it actually was a little annoying because it was like it just made like this weird repeated noise. But as far as I can tell, it sounds good now. Yeah, maybe still a little bit clicky, but not too bad. So yeah, that's just kind of a general update on the game stuff. Just filling out this last little main event here of the Monster Energy Cup DLC. Again, just came out today on Steam Store, PlayStation Network, Xbox Marketplace. If those console stores don't update every week, I know sometimes you guys may not have it out just yet, but hang tight, I'm sure it's coming. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll at least try this track out. If not, watch the video and enjoy it. And as always, appreciate you guys watching. So thanks again so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.